What up, guys? Coming at you with that finally ready July TBR. It is a ridiculous number of books, and I do think I'm being overambitious this month, so I don't know if I'll actually get through all of them. But that being said, I thought it would be fun to talk about them. Thank you, everyone, for joining me today. For those who are new to this book channel, then thank you so much for coming and being a part of our bookish community here at J-Base Corner. My name is Jaya, and I talk about everything books and a little bit of randomness here and there. That being said, one of my favorite things to talk about is the lineup of books that I have for the month and what books I'll be keeping on that list and what may change as we move forward through our reading journey. This selection of books is very random, and I hope that it is something that everyone will enjoy, that there's a little bit of something there for everyone. If you are new and you love everything bookish, then I would love to see you stay with us. And if you want to hang out with us here in this community, I do put out videos every Wednesday and Sunday, and I would love to see you back. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell. For those of you who are part of our bookish family here, thank you so much for coming back and hanging out with me. That being said, this video might be a slightly longer one, so depending on what time of day it is, wherever you are, please don't forget to grab your beverage of choice before we settle in for this video. So without further ado, let's go. The first book that I'm going to talk about, because it's on the top of the list, there's no other reason, is The Midnight Feast. Now, this book is by Lucy Foley. It is a thriller. It is her newer release. I believe it was released this year, if I'm not mistaken. Let me check the copy right here real quick. So yes, this was published in 2024. So it was released this year. It is her newest mystery novel. Now, for those who recognize this name or don't recognize this name, she's also written many other books. Some of my favorites being The Guest List and The Paris Apartment. She also wrote The Hunting Party, which was a very good thriller. Interesting characters, interesting dynamics. Just didn't speak to me as much because all the characters were not great, and so I didn't think there was anything redeemable about any of the characters. If that's something you would enjoy, then it's probably a fun book to read. It's definitely fast-paced and entertaining, but I think Lucy Foley just has a way of writing about these situations that are crazy and fantastical and still being probable, and I enjoy that aspect of a thriller, and it's usually set in these remote, interesting, eerie destinations, and so that's always fun too. This particular book is no exception. So the book is taking place at an island, and basically within this island there are the locals and then there is the elite. Now, the elite specifically also caters to a main character in the book that we do get to read a perspective of, named Francesca. She has opened up in old land that has been bought from the council, and basically much against the locals' voices being heard, and that land being something that they've all used is now privatized land. And so she has created this large over-the-top resort there, basically catering to the rich, called the Manor. Now, there's a feud war that's basically taking place over this property at the beginning of the Manor's opening, where Francesca is trying to create this land to be an oasis for her guests and basically this remote island, and the locals keep coming and causing issues. Now, the mystery portion of this is that there is some kind of rumor that has also, or superstition that also exists on this island, that if you cause irritation and imbalance within that nature, that things will come back and haunt you. Specifically, the main things that have been talked about so far is don't anger the birds. So I'm very curious to see where this book goes. On the back, as we see here, it says, "Welcome to the opening weekend of The Manor, a luxury resort built on top of old secrets in an ancient forest. The founder, the husband, the mystery guest, the kitchen help. Everyone has an agenda. Everyone has a past, but not everyone will survive." So the book is basically being told from the perspective of Francesca, the husband, Owen, the mystery guest, Bella, and last but not least, the kitchen help, Eddie, who happens to be a local. And thus far, I am on page 50, so I have not gotten that far into the book. The book is about 350 pages long, so not even a full sixth into the book yet. But so far, what I've read has been interesting, and we've kind of set the playing ground for all these different characters. So I'm excited to see where this goes. So that's the first book on the TBR. We have The Midnight Feast by Lucy Foley. Next up, we have Allie Hazelwood's Not in Love. This is the new STEM romance released by Allie Hazelwood this month, and so of course I had to get my hands on it. Actually, it was released in June, if I'm not mistaken. Started reading this basically at the very, very tail end of last month, beginning of this month, and I have finished the book at this point. It's not my favorite by her, but we'll get more into that when we do our reading wrap up at the end of the month. But I will say that for all of you romance fans out there, and for any girls who are in science pursuing your PhDs and things like that, or masters, whatever it might be, whatever you are studying, if it's STEM related, you might enjoy these characters and these stories. A lot of Allie Hazelwood's main characters are female characters that are basically broke but very intelligent, either graduating from their PhD or in the final throes of their PhD. They can be very clueless when it comes to romance and love, but they know they have passions. And so it always follows their female main characters and their relationships with the various men in STEM as well. So if that's something that sounds entertaining and fun to you, that would definitely be an Allie Hazelwood plus checkpoint for me, because that's basically the world she writes in. Now, that being said, it's not super, super scientific where like no one can follow what she's writing. It's very enjoyable. The science is well dispersed in there. It is very simplistic. It's not anything too intense, but it's a fun vibe and a fun read. Now, this one in particular did not speak to me because it is very, very steamy. I would say on a steam spectrum, it's probably like a 4 out of 5 chili steam. Like a lot of scenes revolve around the steam between these two characters and the spiciness between them. And their entire introduction is basically through a hookup app. So that should give you guys an idea from there. But basically, Rue is a PhD and she is working in a lab. And in that lab, she's working on techniques to extend shelf life of food. Meanwhile, Eli is a part of a group that's basically coming in and trying to take over her current company and do restructures within the company. And so it's kind of like the standoff between the two characters where there's like that attraction that's definitely there, but they're also enemies by all means. And so it's kind of like an enemies to lovers, but it was an interesting read. That being said, I will say that any Allie Hazelwood book that comes out, I will read it. So I do think it's an enjoyable, fun book to read. But yeah, that's next up on the July TBR. Then we have a new book by Ashley Poston. Now, Ashley Poston writes amazing books. I absolutely love her. She wrote the Geekerella series, which I thought was very entertaining. That was kind of like young adult vibes. Then she also wrote the Briar and something. Oh my gosh. What was it called? I can't remember what it's called. I'm so embarrassed, guys. I'm so embarrassed. Hold please while I look the book up. But basically, I also loved that book. And then she wrote The Dead Romantics, which I absolutely adored as well. And I think it's an absolutely stunning book. Just chef's kiss. Really enjoyed that one. Fun, fast-paced, easy read as well. And then she recently came out with The 7-Year Slip, which is a fan favorite. I personally have not read this book yet, but it has been described as a little piece of sunshine before on the internet, and I definitely can't wait to read it. So it is definitely on my list. If you guys are wondering why I'm looking down while I'm talking to the camera, it's because I'm literally trying to figure out what the name of this book was, because I remember thoroughly enjoying it. What was it called? Shish Louise. This is going to be bothering you guys. This is going to bother me. You know what? I'm going to put it in the description below, the other book that I'm thinking of that Ashley Poston wrote. It was really, really cute. It was also a young adult book. It was a fantasy book. So a little bit. Oh, Among the Beasts and Briars. There we go. I found it. So Among the Beasts and Briars is another one of Ashley Poston's books, which I absolutely adored. And basically where I'm trying to go with this is that I decided I needed to finish reading everything that she's written because she's a phenomenal author and I do enjoy her romance books. So this is the new one that came out this month and I'm so excited to read it. So we have A Novel Love Story and we have The 7-Year Slip that will both be read at some point this month because I love everything Ashley Poston. So super excited for both of those. Then next up, we have 3 books. I unfortunately don't have physical copies of these books. They are on Audible, but I found that I absolutely adore Abby Jimenez. And so I had read her series, Part of Your World, last month and enjoyed them thoroughly. They were hardcore 5-star reads for me. So I was like, I must read the other 3 books that she's written, and that series is called The Friendzone. It's the Friendzone is the first book, then you have the Happy Ever After playlist, and then the last one is Life's Too Short. And all 3 of those books I'm very excited to read, and I will be doing another video, I'm sure, kind of collecting my thoughts and discussing that book, because I do think Abby Jimenez is a phenomenal writer, and I hope you guys will enjoy that video when it comes out. But because of that reason, those 3 books are also in my TBR, and I'm very much looking forward to reading them. Then, Magnolia Parks has been a long journey. She has 5 books that she's written, Miss Jessa Hastings, and every single one, they're phenomenal, and then at the very end, it rips your heart out, and so I just need to take breaks in between books here and there. But in the Magnolia Parks series, there are 5 books that have so far been released. This book, Magnolia Parks Into the Dark, is the final book from the Magnolia BJ perspective. And Magnolia Parks The Long Way Home kind of left it on a cliffhanger that just broke my heart. So I've been having a little bit of a difficult time jumping into this one. But I do plan on reading Magnolia Parks Into the Dark this month and completing the series as it has been written so far. I sincerely hope that there will be many more Magnolia Parks books, or not Magnolia Parks books, but Daisy Hates books, because I love Julian, I love Daisy Hates, I love Christian, I love all the characters in those 2 books. The Magnolia Parks characters, the only thing I really like about them is the box set. I'm not a huge fan of Magnolia herself, but I am very curious to read this one, because a lot of people have said that she really redeems herself as a character in this book, because you get a lot more background on Magnolia herself and the way she thinks and why she is the way she is. So I am excited to read that aspect of the book, and I do think, reeling from the tragedy that happened in the end of the 3rd book in the Magnolia Parks world, which was Magnolia Parks The Long Way Home, I'm very curious to see how she's going to deal with everything that's going on, and how she and BJ are going to navigate all the things that have happened in their life as they consider moving forward. And I think one of my favorite things about Jessa Hastings is she really does make you think, how many true loves do you get in a lifetime? And so I am very excited to complete that series, and I will probably do a series wrap up for these 5 books too, with more details, most likely with spoilers, so I will put that one out soon. But yeah, so that's also on my July TBR. Next up, we have 2 books that are a little bit out there. Now, these are still within the realm of romance, but I believe these are considered dark romance. Now, these both are from Book of the Month. The first one I came across earlier, I want to say this year, or possibly October-ish timeframe of last year. And then this new one was released recently, and it's supposed to be a trilogy. This is written by the author Bren Weaver, and we have 2 books here. We have Butcher and Blackbird, which is the first one that was released, and then we have Leather and Lark, which is the second book in the series. So I kind of knew that this one was going to come out, which is why I hadn't read this one yet, because I kind of wanted both books to be fresh in my mind when I read them. This will be my first foray into like dark romantasy, serial killer vibes, like that type of thing. There's also another series that's probably in this world, also known as the, pardon my language, the Mindfuck series, and I do have that on my list to be read as well, but I was saving that one for October. So I thought these would be fun to read and tackle, because I am slowly trying to get through all of my Book of the Month books, because I have so many. But yeah, so I will definitely keep you guys posted, but these are the next 2 books on my TBR list for July. I will say these are probably going to be the lowest on the totem pole in terms of the TBR and getting to them, because it is a little outside of my comfort zone, but I'm curious to see where they take me. I have heard there's a lot of spice in this book, and it's not necessary to the plot line, so I'll probably skip all of that. I'm more excited to see the banter and like the crime aspect of these novels, and kind of see where Bren Weaver takes the novel from there. Next up on our list, there's another fan favorite author that everyone talks about on the internet, and her name is Katherine Center. Now, Katherine Center is known to write books that are very emotional, that really make you think, that make you feel good, fun, fluffy, but also have commentary on society, on life, on things like that, that make you think. And so I decided I wanted to do a Katherine Center marathon. I have a few books selected for this month and then a few I want to tackle in August. I'm not going to read everything all at once because she has so many books, guys. But that being said, these are the 3 that I want to tackle this time around. So we have Hello Stranger, which was the second book, I think, that I saw on Book of the Month by her. She has other books that she's written that have also been on Book of the Month. But when I joined Book of the Month, these are the ones that were kind of standing out to me. So the first one, this is actually the second book that came out. This one came out in 2023, so last year. Then this one came out, I believe, in 2022. This is The Bodyguard. I'm also currently working my way through this book as well. So whenever the Lucy Foley books gets a little too heavy or the mystery stuff gets a little bit too heavy, I like coming back to the fluffy romance. So I'm actively also reading this one. And I have to say, so far, I love it. I'm about 2/3 through the book and the plotline is starting to thicken. I will say, I haven't seen as much depth in it as I thought I would, but I do really, really enjoy the characters and I do like the book so far. And last but not least, this is the newest one that was released this year, and this is called The Rom-Commers. This book came out last month, I believe, as well. And I know a lot of YouTubers are talking about this book already, and it's on everyone's channel, so I'm really excited to see what this book has to hold for me. But I do plan on reading these 3 books this month and kind of immersing myself into the world of Katherine Center. So lots of trilogy vibes this month. Not that I'm saying this is a trilogy. I think they're all standalone books, but in my head they're trilogies because the covers all kind of go together. But yeah, so I have the Katherine Center books on my TBR as well. Then next up, I have the Book of the Month book that we will be reading as a group for the Overbooked Book Club, which is the book club that I run on Facebook. For anyone who's interested, we do meetings once a month. We do a poll on what book we want to select to read, and then we have Zoom meetings once a month to kind of discuss the books, which is always so much fun. I do thoroughly enjoy doing that. So if that's something that speaks to you and that's something that you would enjoy, we would love to see you in that arena too. But yes, I'm very, very much excited to read that book. And that book is The Husbands by Holly Gramazio. Now, this book is very, very interesting, I think. This book is basically a contemporary fiction novel, and the book is basically about this woman who's going through life, and she happens to have a husband who randomly comes down from her attic, and like this whole life that she's experiencing. And then all of a sudden she decides that she is not sure about that life anymore. She sends the husband up into the attic, and lo and behold, a new husband comes in. So she basically gets to try these new lives with different husbands. And it kind of reminds me of Midnight Library vibes. That's what I'm hoping for, at least with this book. Something existential, something that makes you think, something that makes you see the value of every life that you might have, but at the same time with a little bit of comedy. That's what I'm hoping for. But that's basically the premises of The Husbands. I think I did a very poor job of explaining that, so I'm going to read the inside cover, you guys. So it starts with, do you take this man? Question mark. No? Question mark. What about this one? Question mark. When Lauren returns home to her flat in London late one night, she is greeted at the door by her husband, Michael. There's only one problem. She's not married. She's never seen this man before in her life, but according to her friends, her much improved decor, and the photos on her phone, they've been together for years. As Lauren tries to puzzle out how she could be married to someone she can't remember meeting, Michael goes to the attic to change a light bulb and abruptly disappears. In his place, a new man emerges, and a new, slightly altered life reforms around her. Realizing that her attic is creating an infinite supply of husbands, Lauren confronts the question, if swapping lives is as easy as changing a light bulb, how do you know you've taken the right path? When do you stop trying to do better and start actually living? A thrillingly original debut, The Husbands brilliantly explores how we navigate life, love, and choice in a world of never-ending options. And I think that's really beautiful because I do think one of the big commentaries that needs to be discussed in society today is how everything is instant gratification now. You're constantly waiting for the next best thing. We're constantly waiting for, everything to kind of drop in front of us because things have become so easy, whether it be the internet, whether it be Amazon Prime, whether it be Instacart, whatever it might be, like everything is at your fingertips. Dating apps is also one of those things. So it's like you constantly have a selection of people that you can play Russian roulette with. And the thing is, I personally feel, and again, this is a me thing, so I'm not judging anyone. I'm not putting this on anybody. You are welcome to agree or disagree. In fact, if you have any thoughts on this subject, I would love to see your comments below. But I personally feel that when it comes to relationships, they're hard, and you have to make a constant choice to love someone. There are days when you will wake up and look at a loved one and feel completely overwhelmed with love. There are other days when you'll wake up and look at that same person and feel a sense of blasé. There are other days when you'll wake up and look at that person and feel absolutely livid. There are moments in marriage that, from what I've heard from people who are much wiser and older than me, is that you'll go through phases of your marriage where you are madly in love with your partner, and then other times where you absolutely hate them. But you make a constant decision and choice to work together, to grow together, and to love each other. I personally feel like lust at first sight is a very real possibility, but love at first sight is not something I believe in. Not because I don't think you can find the love of your life within your first meeting, but it's more the fact that love for me is a long-term goal and something that you're constantly working at, and a choice that you're making every single day. You choose to wake up every morning and say, I'm going to love this person. And I think in this world where instant gratification is a thing, and we constantly question, let me rephrase that. I don't know why I'm grouping everybody into this. When I constantly question, whether I've made the right decisions, should I have taken a different path or a fork in life? Like, those are always what ifs that can pop into my head. And I think it would be very fun to delve into these type of stories that give you alternative realities that characters may have jumped into, but would it truly have satisfied them? Or is the current life that they're living their best life because those choices were made by that individual based on their personalities, based on their needs within a certain circumstance in their life? I absolutely love the Midnight Library because of this reason. I think Matt does a beautiful job of exploring this topic. And so the idea of having that, but in the realm of dating, bromance, loves, I think will be very, very entertaining. So I'm very excited to read Hallie Gramazio's The Husbands as well for my book club. And then pardon me while I grab the last book in our collection here that will be read. And that is Dolly Parton's Dream More. Now, this is the book that is selected for this month for the other book club that I'm a part of, known as Paper and Glam. It is absolutely wonderful. It is led by a lovely, lovely woman named Lisa Marie Landreth. She has been doing this for years now, and the community is just so beautiful. It's very supportive. It's very kind. It's very loving. It's a bunch of men and women that get together to discuss books once a month. And it's a plethora of novels. So you get novels that have, thriller themes. You get books that are romantically themed. You get books that are nonfiction, memoirs, all kinds of things in this group. And I really like it because it expands my reading capacity and the genres that I've experienced. So if that's something that interests you, definitely check out Paper and Glam. It's wonderful. They also vote on titles. In fact, title voting for 2025 is taking place right now. But I will say that I'm very excited to read this book. I feel like, growing up in Texas, we all have heard of Dolly Parton before. And so I'm very curious to see what she has to say. But altogether, that completes the books that I'm reading for this month. So we had the 3 books that are online, which is The Friendzone, the Happily Ever After playlist, and Life's Too Short by Abby Jimenez. Oh boy, pardon me, guys. So that's 3. We have the Dolly Parton book, which is 4, Husbands, which is 5, the 3 Katherine Center books, the Butcher and Blackbird, Leather and Lark. So we're already at 10. Then we have Magnolia Parks. We have a novel love story, the 7-Year Slip. We have Not in Love, and we have The Midnight Feast. So altogether we have 15 books on the TBR this month. It is a little ambitious for me. I have a feeling I'll probably get through about 10 of them. But that being said, thank you so much for joining me, and I do hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any books that you would like me to look into, or if any of these books struck your fancy, please do leave a comment in the description box below. I very much look forward to reading these books and getting back to you guys. As always, it was such a pleasure to have you here with me talking all about books. It is something I truly enjoy and something I'm passionate about, and it's nice to have a community to be able to share that with. And I truly, truly do enjoy your comments as well. So if there's anything that you guys want me to read, or if there's any books that have struck your fancies, or if there's anything on your TBR that I should be adding to my TBR, then please do put that in the comments below. I put out videos every Wednesday and Sunday. For those who are new to this video, if you enjoy this and you did want to be a part of our bookish community, definitely consider hitting that subscribe button and that notification bell. For those of you who have been a part of the family, well, thank you so much for joining us again and coming back. And I can't wait to talk all things books with you for many, 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 many more videos to come. But thank you so much again for joining me. And until next time, I will bid you guys good night, because it is nighttime here where I live. And I wish you all wonderful, beautiful days ahead of you and lovely weekends if you are also walking into your weekend as well. And yeah, thanks for hearing my rantings and ravings about books. I'll catch you guys later. Bye.